Thank you. I'd also like to remind you that there will also be a public lecture in the evening at 6 o'clock today, held here in the auditorium. I wanted to emphasize the public lecture this evening at 6 o'clock.
Reka pa morao ya delay connect.
Will not be accessible. The door to my left.
Wait.
Pula. Thank you. We may be seated. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Keabetswe Masisi, Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology, and also MP for Takatokwane, Honorable Mahang Ngaka, Assistant Minister of Environment, Trade and Industry, and also MP for Palapye, Honorable Muiseraele Hoya, Khosi Sidiri Khamane, Motshwarela Khosi Yaba Mangwatu, Khosi Masego Ulebile, Khosi Yamo Palapye, Keynote Speaker, Council Members, Vice Chancellors, all protocol observed. It is my privilege this morning to be the Master of Ceremony for the 37th Southern Africa Mathematical Sciences Association Conference Opening Ceremony in this country. Upon Member
and gentlemen, thank you, Director of Ceremony. Let me introduce to you this morning. We have Khosi Masego Ulibile wa Palapye, Assistant Commissioner Ntoiwa, and he is also accompanied by his deputies. And lastly, we have the BIUST senior management amongst us, the heads of central government, and all distinguished guests. I recognize you. Thank you, Director of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Mema Musime. At this juncture, I will invite the BIUST Council Chairman, Mr. Bernard Bolele, to give the welcome address.
I thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, for inviting me to give welcome remarks at this event. May I first take this opportunity to greet and welcome in a special manner His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Keabetswe Masisi. I also greet the Honorable Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Member of Parliament for Takatukwani, Honorable Ngaka. I welcome the Assistant Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry and my Member of Parliament here in Palapye, Honorable Ngaka. I'm sorry, sir. I greet and welcome Khosi Siriagan Khamani Mocharala Bohosi, Jam Mangwato, Le Khosi Raishor Rama Fraha, I met Khosiamo no Palapye. The keynote speaker, Professor Abba Gumel of Arizona State University, Molaudi wa Kaoloe ya Central District. After recognizing my Vice Chancellor, the conference brings together international experts on mathematical sciences. It includes 1 keynote speaker, 9 plenary sessions, and 4 parallel workshops. The theme for this conference is Mathematical Sciences, a catalyst for driving a knowledge-based economy. In addressing this theme, the expectation is that mathematical scientists will closely consider how both theoretical and applied mathematics science can be leveraged to transform Botswana's economy from being a resource-based to being a knowledge-based economy. Before I close my welcome remarks, let me remember one thing that Professor Lungu has time and time told me, which of course other people will have views on, to say that mathematics is the only pure science. Says mathematics is the only pure science and the foundation and crucible for all other subjects named as science. Of course, Your Excellency, he didn't declare his interest. Now, please allow me again to welcome you to this campus, to the SAMSA 2018 conference, and to Botswana, with the hope and expectations that the interactions, deliberations, and resolutions of this conference will be helpful in achieving the theme of this conference. And lastly, please do not disagree like lawyers. Is it not that this is a perfect science? I thank you, Bagaitsu. Pula.
Mathematicians simultaneously. We have simultaneous equation. So will give us the overview of the conference. Thank you.
But His Excellency, Honorable. Now, when I came to Botswana in 1981, specifically, to form this organization where we call SAMSA, I had one thing in mind, that one day I would see a sea of mathematicians, and that we would be in a position, to work, with industry and everybody else. It was not an easy task, but I was fortunate enough, and in life you must be fortunate. At that time, we were 2 young guys. I met 2 Norwegians, Bent Oxendale and Knut S. I think they are in the crowd. These are worth knowing, yeah. Yeah. When I explained my program to them, they bought, that we started, at that time. In the mid 2003 to 2007, I had a collaboration with Abba Gumeo when he was in Canada as professor at Manitoba University. So altogether, everything combined, Your Excellency, I can challenge our government. We have produced more PhDs than any single government in mathematics. Yeah. And not only that, we have produced excellent Botswana PhD students who are working in our universities. And we are not ending there. We still have a few Botswana students who will be graduating shortly. That is our aim. Our aim is not only to produce PhDs, but to raise the quality of research on our continent. And this is where mathematical sciences, a catalyst to a knowledge economy comes in. Because as my chairman of council said, mathematics to me is the only thing, and that is because the Almighty himself is a mathematician. But I shouldn't forget, to thank my local organizing committee. They were tremendous in everything that we have done. And Vice Chancellors, I also want to thank you. The institutions that you are leading are full of people with the expertise to execute any task. And I'm particularly pleased that this classification of academic and support ended during the time that we were organizing for this conference. We worked as one, and that is what we want to see in our universities. But I must thank our sponsors. We have sponsored Auburn University, the London Mathematical Society, AMSI. It's because at my age now, you must admit, I should be allowed to forget one or two things.
Your Excellency, the protocol, all protocol has been observed. He said it is, apart from age, you should also acknowledge that height-wise, he's somewhere there. My task is actually very simple. He has explained a little bit of some overview about SAMSA and where we are coming from, and I guess where we are actually going. I've had an opportunity to work with him. That's why he can do any other thing that he so wishes, because I am his academic son. And in that sense, we treat him as our academic grandfather, because I have also academic sons. I came to Botswana upon his invitation to actually work with him. And as one of the masters of ceremony here was saying, that we were actually like the guinea pigs, because we were, I think, the first PhDs in the mathematics department at UB in 2003. So I cherish the honor of being a son, not only to him, but also having been educated in this particular country. King Wanawaro. And apparently when I was here, I came, now I'm actually called a Mukatla. I've got a plot somewhere in Mochibi, but not physically, but I appreciate having been educated in this country and contributing to this particular country. SAMSA as an organization has actually grown in recent years, and I'm actually proud to be part of such an organization. We have not only grown in numbers, but we have also grown in our collaborations and in our interactions in our own countries and even globally. And I want to really appreciate those that are actually sending messages out there, because we receive memberships from requests from countries that we never thought would even know part of this particular globe. So we want to really thank those that had the vision for starting such an organization to drive the mathematical sciences in this particular region. How many of you are attending SAMSA for the first time? I would want to ask you by the show of hands. I'm asking mathematicians. Wow. And each and every year, we always have quite a big number. And I tell you, those that have raised hands, I will see you again next year, God willing. And this is what has been happening. Whoever attends a SAMSA conference would always want to attend the next SAMSA conference. And you are very much welcome. And thank you for honoring us to be part of this particular conference. Let me close by just saying that I was given an opportunity to work with an executive, and those guys have been tremendous, and I want to acknowledge them before you. And I'm happy to report that many of them are here. I will actually introduce them in the other formal platforms, but I want to just acknowledge that I've had an opportunity to work with a wonderful executive. May God bless you. And this particular conference, I know it is a unique one, and we shall indeed enjoy each and every moment. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of this conference, and you are welcome as a delegate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nyabaza and Professor Lungu. At this juncture, I'll be inviting the keynote speaker, who is Professor Abba Gumel. Professor Abba Gumel is a full professor of mathematics at the School of Mathematics and Statistical Sciences at Arizona State University. He works in the fields of nonlinear dynamical systems, particular verification theory. Mathematical work is focused on the use of mathematics.
President Masisi, Honorable Minister, all protocol observed. It's great to be here in this beautiful country. It's my second time coming back to. Sorry. Oh yes, please, the slides on, yes. Thank you. Yes. It's my good friend, Teko, sir. Oh yes.
Can I have my glasses?
Thank you, yeah. So let me start one more time with the slide on this. So Your Excellency, President Masisi, Minister of Tertiary Education and Research, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to be back here in Botswana. I was here the first time about 10 years ago when Professor Edward Lungu was hosting a workshop at the then University of Botswana, where he was before he moved here. And we had a great time, and it's always great coming back here. And I think he was right when he said mathematics was the only pure science. I totally agree with him. That is actually true. The theme of the conference, as mentioned, is the role of STEM, mathematics, in catalyzing a knowledge-based economy. So I'll discuss some of that. Next slide, please. So, loosely speaking, what is a knowledge-based economy? So essentially, it's an economy based on production and services, on knowledge-intensive activities that contribute to rapid pace of technical and scientific advances. So it's the key component of a knowledge economy is greater reliance on intellectual capacity, the ability of humans to come up with brand new ideas that improve the living conditions of people. That's the general idea of a knowledge-based economy, not based on resources, but using knowledge as the main resource for catalyzing development. That's the so knowledge is the driver of productivity and economic growth, and is a key economic resource. So the dominant source of competitive advantage, knowledge societies have competitive advantage over societies that do not have enough knowledge. So it is inherently, of course, by definition, innovative, empowering, and transformative. Through knowledge-based economy, you transform societies and improve the living conditions of people. So it's clear, I think, to everyone in the audience that the economies now around the world are increasingly dependent on knowledge, information, and hiring highly skilled workers to improve productivity and standard of living. So this is the general idea of what are the key ingredients of a knowledge-based economy. If you want to set up a knowledge-based economy, what are the most essential features you have to have? I think the first one you have to have, if you look at all the G8 countries, one thing they absolutely have in common is huge investment in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Okay, that is number one, okay, because that's how you produce citizens that can create new ideas, new businesses, and so on. So you want to build and sustain skilled workforce that can nourish the knowledge-based economy. You also have to have strong support for research and development. And so research and development in both basic and applied research together, okay? So absolutely essential. So it has to be focused on investment in higher education with emphasis on research and development in both basic science and applied sciences. I'll talk later on some of the major advances made in science and technology, and I'm going to mention the likes of Einstein, Newton, and so on. When they were doing what they were doing during their time, they were not worried about the application of the law of universal gravitation or the law of relativity and so on. No, but later on, you know, so it was basic research at the beginning, but later on it turned into major applications. Some of the ideas, of course, were used to transform major economies around the world. So this is the idea. So strong support for research and development, innovation and commercialization. Universities have to become now engines for knowledge economy. This is where innovation happens. Universities such as this one for science and technology, the University of Botswana and so on. Universities are drivers, they are the producers, the safeguards or the guardians of creation of knowledge and dissemination of knowledge. Another feature you have to have if you want to build a knowledge-based economy is that you have to, of course, have improved infrastructure, strong high-tech multinational base, okay, so multinational corporations. You have to also have governments that are very pro-business in terms of their regulations, lower taxes, and that kind of thing. And availability of capital, I'll talk about later on. In the continent of Africa, one of the problems we have is we have a lot of youth that are not able to find a reasonable job. So I think availability of venture capital in knowledge-based economy concept can lead to jobs for those youth. Value addition, this is another thing, okay? Yes, we have resources, but you can create industries, companies, multi-billion-dollar projects or companies by doing value addition. Qualified immigration, I'll talk about this a little later in the context of, let's say, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, and so on. Qualified immigration is very important. Thank you. Next slide, yeah. So I will just give some examples of life-changing scientific discoveries of the past. I'll just list them. I'm sure we all know about that. First, in 1543, Copernicus showed the motion of the sun is just a motionless body that at the center of the solar system with the planets revolving around it. Isaac Newton, of course, the law of universal gravitation. Faraday, discovery of electricity. Charles Darwin, great evolution by natural selection, which I think formed the basis now of biological sciences. Albert Einstein, of course, theory of relativity, became the foundation for much of modern sciences. Okay, so there are a few more discoveries. I mean, there are many other discoveries. I'll just list a few more. The periodic table, X-rays, and penicillin, atomic bomb. No. Not all discoveries are great, okay, but they were discoveries. I mean, someone found with the Manhattan Project, right? These people knew. I mean, so anyway, the DNA. This is a game changer. Okay? So in 1953, on the sequencing of the human genome. Now it puts biological sciences in a whole new framework. Now we can do a lot more than we otherwise were not able to do. We can understand diseases better. We can come up with new therapies now for dealing with diseases and so on. We can cure certain diseases. We can do a lot more. So a lot of discovery. The point of all the slides is to show that humans have always been innovative or have always been looking for ways to improve their living conditions. Okay, and within the framework of science and technology, this becomes a lot easier. If you make the right investments into science and technology, great things always happen. Okay, so you have, especially in this continent, Africa, we have 1.3 billion people, majority under the age of 35, 70% under the age of 35. Empower them through science and technology, and you see great things happening within the continent, as I've shown you some examples. Penicillin, yes, so antibiotics for control of diseases, curing of diseases and so on, a big game changer as well. People now live longer because we can treat disease and so on. Next slide, please. Okay, so where does mathematics comes in? I'm claiming in all of these major discoveries that changed lives, they were all possible because of the major role mathematics played in them, all of them. Each of those contributions you see. So in the 20th century, which is generally considered to be the century of physics, the 20th century was the century of physics, major advances in the spatial and general theory of relativity, Einstein's work, quantum mechanics, Big Bang cosmology, particle physics, all of those things. The current century is the century of biological science, as I mentioned, and I think mostly due to what happened with the DNA sequencing. So major advances in the current century in molecular biology, in genetics, in using now nanotechnologies in medicine, okay, more effective ways to treat disease, organ transplantation, controlling diseases. This is another thing I should also mention. So part of what I do in terms of my own work is using mathematics to understand how diseases spread. And Professor Lungu is the first to introduce this topic to the continent of Africa. And I really think he deserves a lot of credit, and I think he's not getting enough credit for that. Yeah, so he started it, he produced lots of high-quality graduate students, including the president of SAMSA himself, Brian. Yes. So he did all that. I think another thing also he did, one time I was doing a conference in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. So he came with two of his students, Archie Kosimori, where is Archie? Somewhere there. Yes, from University of Botswana, both of them. And they did such a great job at the conference in Utah. Simon Levine, one of the top leaders in our field from Princeton, tapped my shoulder and said, "Abba, let's do this in Africa." Because they went and gave excellent presentations at this conference. And that's what led to us doing a US-Africa partnership in mathematical biology. We raised millions of dollars from various sources, including the National Science Foundation, to run programs in Africa in conjunction with centers in the United States, especially DIMAX at Rutgers University, MBI, Ohio State. We train a lot of people. I've seen quite a number of them who are now PhDs working in various universities in Africa. And it's all due, I think, to the presence of Edward Lungu at that particular conference. So thank you very much. Okay, so controlling and eradicating diseases. So I mentioned here vaccine. And the point here, okay, so we only eradicated 2 diseases using vaccine, one of which is smallpox, the other one is rinderpest. And Daniel Banu's work, the statistical work, was actually instrumental in doing that. But this is one thing that is also relevant to this continent. We should adopt a more preventive approach to public health rather than reactive approach to public health. In other words, try to stop people or prevent people from getting infected in the first place before waiting and for them to get infected and then you start worrying about treatment. So I think this is the sort of thing that Edward Lungu and his group and many other groups around the world are doing to try to minimize the impact of the spread of diseases. Next slide, please. Okay, so mathematics as catalyst for industrialization. Look at the ICT industry. Okay, Apple recently became a $1 trillion industry. Okay, it's valued at over $1 trillion. Okay, what are they doing? If you look at some of the what they actually do, what mathematical concepts are being used. Signal processing plays a major role, logic, software engineering, and so on. These are things we teach at universities, I mean, at undergraduate level. Amazon, also a $1 trillion industry. You do things like operational research, graph theory. Again, these are things undergraduate students in mathematics programs will understand. Google is a multi-billion-dollar industry, also based on search algorithms, data science, linear algebra, graph theory, machine learning approaches. Microsoft, of course, telecom industries, they do a lot of scheduling, queue theory, optimal allocation. Social media is a multi-billion-dollar industry as well, Facebook, Twitter, network analysis, network theory. These are things, again, students of mathematics will understand. Branching processes, time series analysis, okay, discrete math. All of those things that have been taught in undergraduate classes in mathematics have potential applications, and people are applying them to create multi-billion-dollar industries. And we can do the same thing here in this continent. Well, in the arts, some may be surprised, why is mathematics in the arts? But yeah, mathematics is also in the arts. In the entertainment industry, so film and music industry, the Hollywood in the United States, Bollywood in India, Nollywood in Nigeria, so digital cameras, projectors, actors, compressing signals, these are light lenses and shutter speed, all of those are calculated using mathematical principles and techniques. So graphics design, tourism, including medical tourism. So people come here to see the safaris, but what stops us from building world-class medical centers so that they can also get world-class healthcare while they're here? So there's a lot of opportunities actually in mathematical approaches. Next slide, please. Okay, energy industry also based, alternative energy, solar, wind, all this kind of energy involve heavy use of mathematical science. Agro-allied industry, multi-billion-dollar industry also, how to maximize crop yield, how to enhance crops, how to effective pest management, processing food, dairy industry, manufacturing and service industries, finance and business industries, and so on. All of these things are based on using mathematical. I'm not saying it's only mathematics that play a major role here, the other sciences also, but without mathematics, all of these things will not be readily feasible. That's the point I'm making. Next slide, please. Yeah, so healthcare and biomedical industry, so pharmaceutical industries, yes. What stops us in this continent, for example, setting up pharmaceutical companies that can produce the drugs we need to take care of all the major diseases like HIV, TB, malaria, for example. This can all be done, and a lot of mathematics involved. Device development, genetic engineering. Now we can modify through the DNA sequence, we can modify the genome of the mosquito so that the mosquito does not give us malaria, or so that when they mate female mosquito mates with a male mosquito, the offspring is a male, because male mosquitoes do not divide and not transmit malaria. Oh yes, that's true. We want to produce more male mosquitoes than female mosquitoes. Yeah, male mosquitoes are, in the context of mosquitoes, they are nicer, okay? Yeah, I'm not making a general statement here, I don't want to get in trouble. But, so all of these things we're talking about in healthcare, it's a massive industry, but there's a lot of application of mathematics in the healthcare industry, a lot of application of insurance companies, for example. Okay, so all of the things require, if you do CT and MRI image process, data compression and so on, and storage, a lot of ideas in topology, anything to do with DNA or the helix structure, that's not topological properties. So people study topology. I mean, these are direct application, differential geometry, Wallace theory, signal processing, image processing, all of this. Also in government, people might be surprised. What's the role of mathematics in government? Government making decisions based on evidence, based on data analysis, data science. I'm glad the president is here. And I should say also, I've been to quite a number of SAMSA meetings. This is the first time the opening ceremony is actually run by the president of the country. And I think we should give the president that's great. But government, mathematics in government, evidence-based. I mean, governments nowadays make decisions based on sound data analysis, mathematical modeling. Policy, how do you make a national development plan for a country in the next 10 years, 20 years, what do we want to become? What will be our population in the next 10, 20, 30 years? How do you strategize? How do you optimally use our resources in the next 10, 20 years? You know, those are all based on sound mathematical principles. Artificial intelligence, mathematical modeling, data science, machine learning, all of those things. Next slide, please. Okay, so back to Africa. I don't know how much time I have. Well, I told my friend Archie Kosmori on the way to here, I flew in like 20 hours to get here, so I was thinking, okay, maybe I should get like 10% of the time to speak. But the president of the country is here, so I will not do that. But if you wasn't here, then I would have requested at least 10% of the time. 1.3 billion people in this continent, okay, spread across 54 countries. Majority are youth, majority under the age of 25, under the age of 25, so 70%. 50% under 25, 70%. So huge opportunity. Of course, there are challenges. Okay, these are some of the challenges I listed them. But they also present major opportunities. Okay, challenges in terms of we don't have really not a lot of STEM education in terms of access. Okay, infrastructure, some challenges. Curriculum. I'm going to talk a lot about curriculum because that's, I think, one of the major problems. Okay, it has to be modernized so it's market-driven in the sense. I know I'm going to get in trouble with some of the mathematicians in the audience who want to say market driven. But it has to be modernized. I'll give some of the details on that. Challenges in terms of life, early childhood learning or education. In some cases, also leadership is an issue. I'll come to all of them. But there's opportunities. Abundant human and natural resources in the continent. Culture of hard work, resilience, and ethics in this continent. Absolutely. Very innovative, highly motivated, creative population. Fastest growing economy in the world. Yesterday I was checking the top 10 fastest growing economies, 6 are from Africa in the world by the World Bank. So it's huge internal market obviously. So imagine if someone is able to create a Google-like company or an Apple-like company right here in the heart of Africa. I mean, with this huge internal market, 1.3 billion, and the population is expected to double by 2050. The population of Africa is expected to double by 2050. So a huge internal market. So if you put all of this, taking all of this into account, you have knowledge-based economy, you have this huge potential. I mean, amazing things will happen. Absolutely amazing things will happen. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are sustainable development goals. Everybody has seen them. The United Nations have formulated them. This is what is expected to happen in the next 2030. So it's in the next 10 or so years. But anyway, these are issues that we all relate to in the continent of Africa. So how do we take care of those? How do we address those kind of problems using knowledge-based economy? Next slide, please. Yes. So I'm claiming that to achieve Africa's hope to achieve or to attain the goals laid out for sustainable development goals, I think the roadmap is through mathematics. It's through STEM. That's my contention. Okay. So first thing, of course, we need huge investment in STEM education. Okay, what does that mean? You have to incorporate and provide access to high quality STEM. STEM means science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Education at all levels of learning. Okay? Build culture of inquiry, innovation, discovery, teamwork, and lifelong learning. This is very critical. Modernize the curriculum. Okay? So we have to modernize the curriculum, make it more multidisciplinary. It's focusing on problem solving, and teamwork, on curiosity, and critical thinking, and reasoning, and market-driven, and curriculum that is preparing people for jobs. Majority of the people who students who graduate from the universities do not find good high-paying jobs straight away. I think the statistics I got is like 20% maximum that usually get jobs, and they almost always rely on government service. So what do we do with those 80% who have degrees but they cannot find decent jobs? Okay, but if you modernize the curriculum so that when they graduate they are already ready to go and start working in the industry, then it becomes a lot easier. So I think that's a major part that we can do, we as academics have to do, okay, to modernize curriculum. Hiring and rotation of quality and well-incentivized teachers, of course, STEM, provide adequate teacher learning resources, encourage and implement active stakeholder participation. Governments alone cannot do that. I think we have to all be together, all the stakeholders, the parents, the non-governmental organizations, everybody has to participate in the provision of high-quality education system. So address inequity also in education, so the gender imbalance. Okay, make sure also that we don't have that problem. Disability. People are not denied education just because they're disabled or because of their socio-economic or geographical status. So that's issue number one, to attain sustainable development goals based on using mathematics, one of which centers around STEM education. Next slide, please. Also, the issue with the energy, internet, and infrastructure challenges, that one also needs to be taken care of. We need to build quality STEM centers of excellence and technology hubs across the continent. I will talk briefly about AIMS. AIMS is Africa Institute of Mathematical Sciences, started by Neil Turo, 2003, in Muizenberg, South Africa. The idea was to take students who got degrees in mathematics, okay, but then they have some holes in their training, and to try to fill those gaps in their training for 9 months in Muizenberg. The project was so successful that it had to be replicated in many other parts of Africa. And I think it's really, truly a world-class center. It's a Pan-African. Students are selected strictly on merit, and I think I've seen quite a number of students who benefited from that. And so it's one of those projects. AIST, President Mandela was asked by the World Bank in the 1990s, what is the single most important thing to do to reverse things around in Africa? And he stood up and said to them, set up Africa Institute of Science and Technology, the Centers of Excellence, along the lines of MIT, along the lines of IIT in India. IIT project in India was so successful They produce many of the programmers, software engineers who are now working in Silicon Valley and translating or transmitting billions of dollars back to the Indian economy. So President Mandela said we have to do something similar, and we already built, I was part of a group that built the first one in Nigeria, in Abuja. That's the second one built also in Arusha. Those are the sort of things that we do. The World Bank is also building Africa Centers of Excellence in many different universities. We need Silicon Valley like hubs. So a university like this one, you allocate land, for example, where big multinational corporations can come, and then you create a synergy or research collaboration between industry and the university, and that leads to startup companies as well. Really great things will happen if those kinds of things happen. Access to funding and provide pro-business regulatory policies and mechanisms to attract quality. Next slide, please. One more thing I forgot to mention, leadership, of course, is very important. You may have great knowledge-based economy, you may have great education system, everything, but if you don't have quality leadership, it's not going to work. This is really, really critical. Competent, dynamic, visionary, meritocratic leadership is critical. Prudent fiscal policy. I'm so glad this country, of course, this country is very well known for zero tolerance on corruption. It's the least corrupt country in the continent of Africa, one of the least corrupt countries in the entire world. So this is really great. I mean, so you have to uphold the principles of the rule of law, good governing principles. I'll come back to the zero tolerance on corruption because there's a commonality between what's happening here and one other country that I'll talk about. That's really a good role model for some countries here in Africa. Okay, Arthur. Okay, next slide, please, Arthur. If you do all of these things, you have presence of high-quality, world-class academic institutions. You have robust curriculum that's holistic, robust university-industry partnership, presence of multinational corporations. If you do all of those things, this is, again, what I keep saying, great things will happen if you do all of them. You have truly a knowledge-based economy if you do all those things. Creation of a knowledge society with more engaged citizenry, evidence-based governance system and truth. So I give, next slide, I give an example of Singapore. Yeah, a case study. An island country of about 6 million people, okay? 40% are foreign nationals. That's why I was talking about qualified immigration. Just the same thing as in the United Arab Emirates. But look at the kind of economy they have in Singapore. You know, so you bring in talented people from outside to come and help you build your country. So that's a very good example. Huge sustained investment in STEM education. Students, of course, if you look at all the standard tests in mathematics and science, in reading and so on, Singapore is almost always among the best in the world because of this sustained quality, also sustained quality leadership, consistently rated among the least corrupt countries on earth. Okay, that's one of the commonalities between Botswana and Singapore, clearly. Great infrastructure. Next slide, please. Among the four original Asian tigers, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, and South Korea, Singapore is #1 in terms of GDP, even among them. Why is that? Because again, huge investment in STEM and quality leadership, skilled workforce. So many multinationals, 7,000 I was counting yesterday from Japan, from US, from Europe, from India and China, about 1,500 multinationals. They're able to attract all of that. But Singapore and Botswana have so much in common, and I've listed just a few of them. Zero tolerance and corruption, sustained quality democratic leadership, huge investment. This country makes huge investment in education and healthcare, just like Singapore does. Peaceful and peace and stability and pro-business policies. Next slide, please. Therefore, Botswana can become Singapore or better because of this. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. Yes. So, in conclusion, sustainable knowledge-based economies are built, in my view, based on excellence in science and technology. Okay, so you need a knowledge-based economy based on excellence in science and technology, huge investment in science and technology, and at the heart of science and technology, of course, is mathematics. Which means if you create centers of excellence in mathematics science, or if you create a nation where there's huge investment in mathematics, encouraged right from the beginning, early childhood education, primary, secondary, university, all the way, then you're going to build a STEM-based, knowledge-based economy. And you have to do this in a sustained way. So the president of SAMSA has mentioned the objectives all the themes of this meeting. We're bringing together to this beautiful town here a nice collection of well-established and up-and-coming young mathematicians from within Africa and from outside Africa to brainstorm on some of these issues and try to come up with ways we can collectively devise strategies to build a knowledge-based economy. So I thank you so much for listening.
Once again, let me hear for our keynote speaker.
Some years ago, I met Abba, and almost immediately I said, there is talent. There lies in the talent. And indeed, you are a great speaker. And for a moment, I thought you were going to show equations. I looked at the audience, I said, oh, there comes trouble. Thank you. Let me introduce myself. To break monotony of BIUST comes in me, Teko Mutsumi, from the University of Botswana. His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Dr. Eric Keabetswe Masisi. Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology, MODE, MP for Takatokwani. Allow me to be naughty. When we were in Shaba, we called it Chenchamajita. Takatokwani Chenchamajita. I hope you are not offended, Minister. Honorable Mahanga Kanaka, all protocol observed. Well, we have been taken through a keynote address that painted to you what mathematics can do. Mathematics is not only the queen of sciences. Prof. Lungu, it is the language of science. Without it, we can't communicate. I will call upon the Minister, Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology, Minister of Takatokwani, once again, Chenchamajita, Honorable Mahanga Kangata, to introduce to us our guest of honor. In the process, as the guest of honor has been introduced and walks up to the podium, there shall be a music to welcome him to the podium. Thank you, Minister. I have to share this.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, let me start by acknowledging your presence here and say, may I say protocol observed. Master of Ceremonies. 2 months back when we were launching the Science Week at Muchudi, they were using some scientific expressions or science expressions instead of Master of Ceremonies. For that, it was a Science Week. Today, I was expecting, like, since it's a Mathematical Science Week, that expression or mathematical expression will be used, maybe x2 times z and all this. Okay, mine is very short. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. His Excellency, the President, how did I start? Yes, let me start. I start by starting. His Excellency the President, for the Republic of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Keabetswe Masisi, the Assistant Minister of Trade and Industry, MP for Palapye, Moisrael Ahoya, Motshwarela Bogosi Jwaga Mangwatu, Kosi Sidiegen Kamani, Governing Councils of Public Universities, Leadership of Central District, government officials here present, SAMSA present and members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I task this morning to introduce the guest of honor. His Excellency Dr. Mokgweetsi Keabetswe Masisi was sworn in as the 5th President of the Republic of Botswana in the 1st April 2018. In November 2014, he was endorsed as the 8th Vice President of the Republic of Botswana after having served in various portfolios. Before becoming a full-time politician, he had established himself as an educationist. He taught social studies in secondary schools, and during that time, he was active in community development activities. In 1987, he became social studies curriculum specialist at the Department of Curriculum Development and Evaluation. His responsibilities, among others, included supervising social studies, music and religious and moral education. In 1989, the President Masisi studied at graduate level at Florida State University in USA, specializing in social studies education and instructional systems design. He attended his MSc in 1990. After completion of his studies, he rejoined curriculum development as the National Coordinator of Social Studies. He was appointed board member of Environmental Education Association of Southern Africa. It is here that he played a leading role in the development of new assessment systems for the criterion referred to testing. President Masisi has also been an active member in several NGO boards. In 1995, he joined UNICEF as Education Project Officer and was in charge of education policy reforms. In 1999, he was awarded Commonwealth Achieving Scholarship to undertake graduate studies in economic and social policy in Manchester University, UK. In 2003, he resigned from UNICEF and joined politics. He became Member of Parliament for Moshopa-Manyana constituency in October 2009 general elections. In October 2009, he was appointed Assistant Minister for Presidential Affairs and Public Administration at the State Presidency. In January 2011, he was appointed Minister of Presidential Affairs, Public Administration. He oversaw poverty eradication program and expansion of broadcasting capacity by BTV and Radio Botswana. In April 2014, he was appointed Acting Minister at Ministry of Education and Skills Development. In October 2014 general elections, he was re-elected Member of Parliament for Moshopa-Manyana constituency and thereafter appointed Minister of Education and Skills Development in October 2014. President Masisi is the 16th recipient of honorary degree of Doctor of Law of the University of Botswana, which was bestowed upon on 13th October 2018. It is therefore my honor and privilege to introduce His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, Your Excellency.
I heard there was a sacred chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed fruit. You saw her standing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Invaders can about, but all I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody good or true, yeah. It's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not someone who's in the light, it's a cold and it's broken, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Amen to that. I was just about to baptize you. Thank you.
All right. What is it off? After baptizing people? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Please sit down.
Sorry.
You want to say something?
The mic is...
No, I can do that. So. The Directors of Ceremonies for this morning, pardon my cold, I have a little cold. The Honorable Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Member of Parliament for Takatokwane, Rangakangaka, and the Assistant Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, and also MP for the area, Mr. Hoya, go tshwarela bogosi ba ga Mongwato, Kgosi Sidile Nkgamane, le Kgosi Mafaraga, Central District Council Chairperson, Mr. Williams, Palapye Sub-District Chairperson, Mr. Putero, BIUST Council Chairman, Mr. Bolele, and Vice Chancellors of BIUST, Buan, BOU, and UB. Your Excellency, the President of SAMSA, Professor Farai, Nyabadza, and patron and a local celebrity, chairman of SAMSA, local organizing committee, Professor Lungo, Deputy PS, Ministry of Tertiary Education, Mr. Masane, District Commissioner, Ms. Musime, distinguished keynote speaker from Urban University, Arizona University, Professor Abag Gumel, members of the media, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I'm at a slight loss. You know, I sat here listening to the distinguished speakers, and I was thinking through my own work and my relevance here. And the iterations I've been making. And I thought, should I read the speech that I have as I prepared, or shall I speak to you? You know, talk to you what I think, feel, and would like. So I thought I might attempt to do a bit of both, just so that I keep to the protocol. Because a lot of what I have said and written in the speech is just mere logic to you. And is also not too presidential. So let me speak to you. And I'll tell you a bit about what has been going on and what I yearn for, and what I think we are on the throes of. First, let me begin by congratulating SAMSA most heartily. It's a noble organization, a worthwhile organization, a brilliant organization. I also took note that, yes, you've had a number of meetings in a number of places, and you've come back home to Botswana. I also took note of the desire, as was articulated by Professor Lungu, from the time he was a young man. He doesn't look too different, even though he was called a grandfather. Wherein he stated his desire to have seen a sea of mathematicians. Let me not disappoint you. You've only just begun. You've only just scratched at the surface. And it's gratifying to see the number of people here and the number of hands that went up when they were asked to raise their hands for those who were coming here for the first time to attend the conference. And on behalf of Botswana and Botswana, let me welcome you most heartily to Botswana. And let me assure you, you are the very kind of visitors we want. The ones with brains. Lots of brains. We like it better if you come more often. We like it even more if you stay. And tell us what we want. We will do our best to give it to you. We already have quite a bit of what you want. We have clean air. We have the wonderful stars and sunsets. We have peace and the tranquility we all yearn for. We have rules and we respect the rule of law. We are a democratic country and we have all the fundamental freedoms you ever yearn for. We allow you to bring in your money in whatever currency, provided it's legal tender and you brought it having earned it. And you're allowed to take it back. If there's a profit, you can take back as much as you want in whatever currency. There are no limitations to exchange controls. So tell us more of what you want, and we will do our best to provide even more of that. As for the immigration regulations, we're relaxing them every single day. But we obviously want to keep out those that are undesirable. The ones you don't want, we don't want. So we will keep this country going for purposes of creating an enabling environment for the free application of mind and experimentation. Now I say this because we're a country as young as 52 years old, smack in the middle of Southern Africa. We're land-linked, as I was reminded last night, and sea-deprived. And imagine the power of mathematics in dealing with immigration, border control, limitations of access to the sea. So the solution lies here. We have stated very clearly that we want to transform ourselves from the traditional economy that we are to a knowledge-based one, a knowledge-based economy. And so all the foundational enabling platforms, conveniences would need to be provided, and we are willing to provide those, including the small amounts of venture capital that we as government can proffer and encourage those who have more than us to so do. So, in helping us to transform this economy, it's important that you gather and exchange knowledge, concepts, ideals here, and motivate one another. But it's also important, as was said by the keynote speaker, that you drill down to what it takes to enlarge the potential of a greater offtake. You know, the curricular revolution required. In fact, I might as well let you in on a little secret. I know the Ministry of Basic Education is working hard on reviewing the curriculum, but I did caution them. I don't think they've reviewed enough, to be honest. I don't think they've reviewed enough in order for us to comfortably state that we have what it takes at the very elementary levels to provide a launch pad for a transformation to a knowledge-based economy. There isn't nearly enough inquiry. There isn't nearly enough problem-solving opportunities provided. There isn't nearly enough evidence that the pedagogic methods used will result in what we want. And that's what we need from you, the experts, in a conference such as this. We, the politicians, are very convenient people. We harvest what's best from you, associate ourselves with it, get popular, we get elected. So you also have a role to make us function. And if we fail, you are the last to blame us. Begin with yourselves. I'm not saying this because there's an election next year. But I might as well let you in on it. We're very keen to make sure that we are competitive at every level. And I say this because I just came in last night from the African Union, which is a successor to the OAU, which was OAU was a body that was known for its political pronouncements, declarations and pronunciations filled with anti-imperialistic, anti-colonial rhetoric, and has moved so ahead to the AU, wherein yesterday we were talking about digitization, big data. But you know, it's still filled with politicians. And territorial sovereignty is an issue, which is a barrier to the thriving of, or the application of knowledge. So one of the challenges that I'd want you to apply yourselves to is to help us politicians get over the hangover of the territorial borders to facilitate competitiveness of the 1.3 billion, most of whom are the so-called youthful dividend that we so have most of. We need to take advantage of it. So the AU is online, Botswana Vision 2036 online, our NDP 11, including its review next year, online. We need to get to recreating ourselves to base our livelihoods on knowledge. And what I'd like to end by is to demonstrate to you how serious we are as a government and invite you to come join the journey. We're very advanced in our discussions with the university in the US, Rutgers University to be specific, wherein we would want to, from next year, create the platform, the conduit, the highway to trade in knowledge. We're going to do something revolutionary. Nobody's done it. We're a little apprehensive, scared, but we're going to do it. We're going to create the infrastructure and the technological facilities to trade in knowledge. And I've told my ministers, Naka included, Israel included, they're not going on leave until they are re-educated. Including all the PSs. They're going to be re-educated so that they are rewired in their thinking and behaviors, outlook and orientation, so that when we get into next year and we start applying this, they know what steps to take to facilitate that. So I invite this organization, SAMSA, to seek allegiance and alignment in this journey. There's a lot of space for you. There's a lot of space for you. I invite Botswana Open University, BIUST, UB, Buan, and the private universities. You know, and I wish they'd been here. The private universities locally, because there is so much room. We will all fit and there will still be room. And the room that's left, we fill in with those from outside who are committed to doing what we want to do. So we're preparing ourselves for the time when diamonds are no longer as, marketable, and we'll trade in knowledge. and get as many people involved as possible. There was a whole lot of ICT. The ICT sector in this, what I'm talking about, is massive. You know, coding and all, it is massive. So we want to get all our young people really busy doing this. So there's going to be a real revolution of sorts that we want to begin next year. That's our commitment. And we need you to hold our hands with the technical competencies to so do. And the more you innovate, the more successful we are. We will patent and we will sell those innovations big time. And we, the Botswana government, will enjoy auditing the tax that you ought to pay from all the money that you make and build the necessary infrastructure to make you successful. So we want, going forward, to build an ecosystem and an ambient environment for the most successful minds to want to come to Botswana. We may not have the money tomorrow, but I bet you we're going to have the money. And don't wait until we already have the money. Come join us, because we're going to make that money. With those few words, let me welcome you once again and express how delighted I am to have been invited to officiate this conference. I wish you great success, and it's only when you come to places like this that you wish you were a mathematician. Not all is lost. I plan to go to school when I finish my job. I'm not sure yet what I will study or what my brain will be able to retain. But I can assure you something that I do would be aided by mathematics. So thanks for being who you are, and welcome. Have a great conference, and good morning.
Once again, a warm clap for our president. Mr. President, you have done well. The building blocks have been started. My observation is that the three public universities, they have all been through science. They did science. My Vice Chancellor, BIUST Vice Chancellor, Professor Brata Keyabetswe, they are science students. In the call that you are making, they should be able to understand you better and enable this nation to transform. And I believe SAMSA has also heard that they need to take the call. We would have failed, not you. Thank you. A token of appreciation, Buang, Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Mokgweetsi, who I call Brata. Yes, it is a geometric set. There's a campus in there.
Wow. So get myself organized.
Thank you, Mayor Messenger. We also do have a token of appreciation. You are for our Minister of Mouth. And finally, for our guest speaker, Professor Abagumel, a token of appreciation for you. And thank you for a lovely talk. When all the official dome is said and done, we revert to the basics. We go home. The tapestry of mathematics that has been painted shall now be colored by biology. My Vice Chancellor, vote of thanks, Professor David Norris.
Good morning. Your Excellency, the President of this nation, Botswana, we are greatly honored that you are able to grace this occasion. The ministers here, the Khosi that are here, we are equally honored that you could make it to this gathering. Your Excellency, we in the academic community, we are very, very excited. Actually, it's very heartwarming that your government is fully supportive of research, development, and innovation. I must say, any transition from a resource-based economy to knowledge economy can only be spearheaded by universities such as ours. I've noted, Your Excellency, that gatherings of this nature, whenever you are invited, you do honor those invitations. I must also indicate, Your Excellency, that your ministers are also very supportive of us in the academic community. And indeed, as you rightly pointed out, should we fail as a nation to transit from a resource-based economy to a knowledge economy, it is us who would have failed you. Because we are supposed to be spearheading this transition. To the mathematicians that are here, the professors, we are very, very thankful. And I want to agree with you, professors in mathematics. But let me just backtrack a little bit and say this. I hope the professors of maths these days are not like the old professors of mathematics. I had a professor called Professor Mpoma at the University of Botswana. Before he even shares with you the course outline, he says to you, in the next 4 weeks, 50% of you won't be in this class. So we're always terrified. So I'm hoping that you encourage your students. You don't scare them. But in any case, let me just concede and agree with you that indeed mathematics is the foundation. I ran away from Mampoma. At a later stage in my life, I did what you call, I'm a quantitative geneticist. I did quantitative genetics at PhD level. I'm telling you, I think 90% of the material was Bayesian statistics and these restricted maximum likelihood algorithms. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, but I made it. I made it. I thought I was doing biology and the DNA and stuff, but it was all mathematics. Now, I want to thank you. I want to thank the leadership of SAMSA for the wonderful work that you've done in having this great conference. May I also thank the whole team that assisted you, like you mentioned, rightly so, that this was a collective effort of the academic and non-academic teams. I want to thank Dr. Ultra for the music. I didn't know he could sing. I love music. I love music, but unfortunately I've always been chased away from singing groups. We were singing at one point in a quartet. I was supposed to be singing what we call baritone. So we were singing and the church was very happy. The amen was very high. As I was walking out, there were some old ladies at the back. They said, this group, really, these young men can sing well. The problem is this Norris boy. So I decided that this is not for me. But in any case, let me thank you for the music and let me thank you all for this wonderful gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Norris. I'm in good company. Mathematics everywhere. Mathematics, it's study of patterns, sequences, geometries, and application of them. You see it as you walk, as you run in the morning, as you are holding meetings, cabinet meetings, the differences that come up, decision making. Let me let you into a secret, my president. Some few years ago, the Botswana government was given the chairmanship of the Security Council. And two mathematicians in the University of Botswana then wrote a paper how much it can optimize, the country can optimize this position. I don't know if it was applied, but decision making can still very much help. I think then it was a very good paper, I think. I still have the copy somewhere. So thank you, my Vice Chancellor. Refreshments and protocol shall be observed as we finish our program of the morning. We shall let our guests of honor and the very important people leave. The VIP guests shall follow. There's two ladies there wearing pretty things, are leading us. And the rest of the team, we shall be going for refreshments, I think to my right somewhere in the hall. The ushers are out there, they will usher you to the place. And then we shall reconvene to come for our scientific program in the afternoon. I think it starts from around 1 o'clock. No? Oh, well, we're running late. Let's agree that you shall start around 12:30. It is, yeah, but the times are out. We'll start with Zivani Mutukwa, plenary speaker, first actually, Professor Vemolin. That is at the hall. That is where we'll be having our plenary session. and then it will be followed by Zivanai Mutukwa of Liberty Insurance. I think this is how much you need to pay in order to stay alive. Then we'll break into our 4 sessions in the afternoon. Thank you so much for your indulgence. Let our guests leave as we rise. Bro, como tocar rola? Where are my notes? Notebook.